question.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to William Linville's YouTube Live in March. Getting started.
Mhm.
Let me get that background off.
What background?
Just something I had playing out in my world on
Oh,
technology.
all righty.
And William, our first question was typed into contact@williamlinville.com.
From where?
It is, I'm not sure where, it's from Celia
Okay. Up
Lambert.
the Pacific Northwest. Okay, cool.
William, could you explain manifestation? I feel like I need a little clarity on it. Is it happening all the time? Question mark. And then the second question is, does it come from our hearts or from our heads?
Number one, manifestation in the manifestational world is all around you 24/7 outside of you. But now when we sit down to manifest on purpose, that's where the most powerful manifestor there is the heart. But now, when your mind is running and you're not the mind, but the ego is running and the mind is scanning the ego, well, but let's say you have an unpleasant thought, an unpleasant memory. And let's say it's right there, it's coming up for you because it is coming up, it's coming out for you to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye to without re identifying with. Now, that part right there is this is where you're totally neutral until you decide to react to a thought form. So if I look at a old archaic event and fear of I don't know, car accidents, whatever, every time I get in the car, I look at, okay, am I clinching, but am I tightening up on and on? But that's where I do look at, okay, the mind's already projecting into the future of that car ride of what may come into your physical world by default. Now, that's all based in survival mechanisms. So let's say we walk out of the car, we come back inside, and now we say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go for a ride about or a drive about or whatever. Okay, cool. Now we walk out to the car. We feel yourself. And then we scan our body because our body will lose. Is it open? Blah, blah, blah. Normally it will be open but the body doesn't fear. The mind, the ego does. But right now, but you get into the car, you're feeling yourself through your body. Now you started the ignition, putting the seatbelt, whatever. Now you pull it out of the garage. And now just take a breath. Am I relaxed? Am I clear? Am I relaxed? Am I XYZ? Yes or no? But if you're feeling discomfort, okay, stop, pull over, take a breath. Say, all right, thank you, but no, thank you. And we break energy and we even ask that to be shown from the rest of yourself, the subpsyche, the soul level of consciousness, your emotional calibration lattice work, going totally thoroughly direct within and through and as yourself. Now we're coming up to you again. And as we're coming up to you again, now we're able to see what is without projecting into the future some sort of altercation in your vehicle. So now this is where we're unmanifesting what's already been being manifested, which is fight and flight, on and on, and parts of your body going into shutdown out of fear. Now, when we break energy like that very cognitively, that's where we're looking at what now we're manifesting as we're going, but we're not manifesting by default. We have that knowing that all is well, everything is safe. Now, this is where you're bypassing the ego, the thought forms, but it's you with your body, with a mind, to scan the elements, but we're not scanning out of fear or anticipation or intrepidation. Now we're becoming clear. So now when we bring it to your day-to-day manifestational world, such as, okay, I would love a new job or a better job or whatever. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a breath. Let's say, all right, family, all right, entourage, all right, guidance realms, angelic archangels in the host realms, manifest level. Okay, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to start playing with something new. Bring it on. Where we take a breath, where we still feel that sense of you, that presence of you. We're not running in anxiety. We're not running away from something. We're not judging our old employment, because that's the judgment part's what's going to keep you there. And by doing that, in judging it all, you're blocking your manifestation and by default creating the same thing over and over again. Until, hey, I would honestly love something new, something different, something I would enjoy, something more than what my mind could even comprehend as enjoyment, as an opportunity of employment. That's where the phone's going to start ringing, because you're going to be given offer after offer, literally, factually, practically in your physical world, new opportunities. Now, but if you're going, it really depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from fear, desperation, on and on and on, no, it's not going to manifest. The only thing it's going to manifest is more fear and greed and blah, 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 which is that sense of lack in yourself. Because that sense of lack in yourself, you're just in wash, rinse, repeat mode of, by default, repeating and remanifesting the same thing. Now, I'm a big fan, personally, when it comes to the manifestational world. I want to know what I want. I don't want to know what others are doing. I don't want to have the same manifestation they're having, blah, 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 blah. I want to know for myself personally, individually. I really want to know what's going to make my heart sing, what's going to be enjoyable, what's going to be more awesome, filled with so much more enjoyment, entertainment, well beyond what the mind the mind and the ego can conjure up based in other dear ones' journeys, experiences, and otherwise. Because that's where you go, into all these different states where, okay, are you trying to mimic others, or is this really a manifestation for yourself of what you're going to enjoy? And that's where I say, I want to know what I want, really, because honestly, analytically, I can't really come up with what I want, because I don't, for one, I'm not going to polarize or limit myself. Number two, okay, I have everything I love, I enjoy, and if there's more to be loved and enjoyed, great, bring it on. I'm always open to new opportunities 24/7, and new opportunities constantly come in 24/7. But at the same time, it comes to, where is your focus? We can stand here and play the Enlightenment Olympics. I mean, everything's great, everything's light, everything's love, blah, blah, blah. And it just is blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of lip service. But you can tell, because how is your body responding? Is it light? Is it vibrant? Is it receptive? Or is it tight? Is it judgmentally holding everyone and everything at bay, which it makes it difficult for the universe to bring their ones in, because manifestations 9 out of 10 times are going to come from through others as instruments and conduits to bring into your life stream, whether they realize it or not. They're being used by the whole universe, by their higher levels, to connect with you through your higher levels, all the way into, within, and through the physical level.
Thank you, William. Going to keep moving to the next question.
Bring it on, buddy. I'll be here
William,
and all week.
I'm finding, as I continue to wake up, pretty much everything related to my old way of being doesn't work anymore. And I feel like I feel like I'm in no man's land with no real idea of anything. I'd appreciate your input about this state.
And where's that question from, Mike?
K. Proudfoot.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Well, yeah, it's not no man's land, but it's no woman's land. It's just a place of a void. Now, go ahead and search yourself right now. Take a breath. Ah, nice deep sigh. Let's do it again. Inhale through your nose, all the way down to below, between your navel and your gender principle. Inhale, hold. Ah, nice deep sigh. And now, as we're here, let's just ask yourself, you know, skipping money, skipping homes, skipping places of belonging, friendships, camaraderies, blah, 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 relationships, just toss it all out the window right now. Let's just ask yourself, in your own sovereignty, your own divinity right now, self, known as K, with happy feet, the proud foot, what is it that I would enjoy? Doesn't have to be some mountain to climb. It doesn't have to be a trinket or whatever. Right now, just what would I enjoy? None of it has to do with physical, tangible objects. None of it has to do with a profession, facilitator, master, whatever, whatever. Let's toss all that into the fireplace as well. Just right now, what would give you the experience of feeling alive, feeling vibrant? What would give you the experience of emanating, radiating, amplifying, and high and higher vibrational frequencies of love, of light? What would really be the sensation right now that you're wishing to experience? So from here, jobs are jobs. They come, they go. Professions are professions. They come and they go. This has more to do with, all right, who is K? What is K? What, no boxes, but what is it up to now that beautiful beloved K enjoys? What is it right here, right now that you feel? What experience would you love to experience? Because if you sum it all up, everything's an experience. That's the only, in the body on a planet, that's part of the beauty of having a body on a planet, is the ability to feel and to experience within and through the body. Beyond the body, you don't have a body, so you just are. You're in a beautiful state of pure creator light beingness, pure creator particles and frequencies, tones like sounds, coloresqueness. But you don't have a form. You don't feel anything because you don't have a form to feel with. Therefore, you just are. You're unlimited, but there's no bounds. You have your rungs of honor, which are like magnetic streams of activator, amplifier, high pitch frequencies and tones and sounds and coloresqueness. But once again, you just are. You have all the above, but you're not a soul. You're not a mind. You don't have a body. Therefore, there's nothing to experience. You're in your total, complete all knowingness. So, right now, just asking yourself, the beautiful heart of K, who has a gorgeous heart, the skip the mind. I love the terminology, lop your head off. Let's not think. Let's just be all that you are. Just right here, right now, no culture, color, creed, no gender. No LGBTQ, PRST, elemental P's, labels. You just are. Now, as we're here in this body, as we have a body, what experience would you enjoy to experience? You can welcome in higher frequencies and tones through your body. You can direct them with your hand or just with your third eye, directing the energy to go a different way, but towards someone, towards a situation, as a facilitator and a conduit. Or you could just be the light that you are. Now, for another moment, just take another breath. Right now, let's all be clear. We need of nothing. We don't really want of anything because right now there is nothing such as lack. So right now, you are completely healthy, whole, and complete right here, right now. In your complete wholeness. Now, what experience would you enjoy experiencing? Where everything is well. There's no black, there's no overkill, there's no sex, power, greed, no identities, nothing to protect, nothing to project from the ego. Right now, the chakras don't even exist because you got to remember, but they're energetic vortexes, but they've been given all of these different belief systems and blah, 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 that just makes them slow down to become more sluggish due to the identities with them. So what's it like right now? To need of no thing, to need of no one. It's like relationships. When you need a relationship, that's like the e-ticket to divorce court, because they're never going to be what you want them to be, and no one's ever going to fit into the boxes you want them to fit. And once they try to, your boxes are going to change. So it's a no-win situation. So let's toss the need for a relationship out the window. And what's that like right now for you? Okay. And everyone. None of the Hallmark cards, none of the you complete me, blah, 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 because you don't need to be completed, you're whole. It's just right now. Let's feel that present within yourself. No want, no desire, no have to, should to, got to, supposed to do, must do, ought to do. No guilt, no emotion exists because emotion is just judgment. You right now in your pristine wholeness as you are. And the part I love most is nothing to prove. You're already all that you are. The rest is just flagellating the ego. There's no being more gifted, no being less gifted, no being further along your journey, others not, or others more further along. All that ego flatus, toss it right out the window. Everyone is right where they're meant to be, and there's not a competition. No one requires being healed because no one is broken. That's just all new age baloney judgment. No one's broken. I don't care if your leg's hanging off and your nose is in your right hand. You're not broken. So just taking a breath. What's that like right now? To be judgment free. Judgments are just a whole nother pathway of your fear. If you weren't in fear, you wouldn't judge, right? If you weren't in fear, you wouldn't have to protect, right? If you weren't in fear, you wouldn't have to project, right? It's all fear. Right now, you are total love. You are total love because, I mean, you're love, loving, and lovable because you are love. So you don't need to get a fulfillment from an outside deity when you're all that you are right here, right now. If there's somewhere you want to be different, great. I implore you to walk away from where you're at to go to the place you want to be. And I know that seems ungrounded and irresponsible, blah, 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 but let's put it into context. What could you be responsible for anyways? You're only responsible for two things because there's only two things you have control over. Your actions, your words, or shall I say your actions and reactions. There's the only thing you have control over in this whole universe. Now, what happens when you don't have a reason to react? What happens when there's nothing to react to? What happens when there's no fear within yourself that would prompt you to have to react, to protect something that need not be protected? Isn't that amazing?
Hmm. Yeah, well, it's amazing to uh, have the experience where something happens and it doesn't mean anything.
Because it doesn't. You know, it's funny, like this morning, Michael, when I was on my way to get a blood test, and all right, someone got in a car altercation, they bonded with another vehicle, they left the planet, and traffic, I sat there for what, 3+ hours. And it's like, all right, well, I met the guy driving the big semi to the left of me and behind me, but it was really an interesting experience. Now, why did I create that? I didn't create an accident. Give me a break. But from here, it was like, all right, slow down, take a breath, catch up on text, emails. You know, why does that have to mean anything? Does it mean that it should have been, shouldn't have been, blah, blah, blah? No, I was right where I was meant to be. Otherwise, I would not have been there. So we can all take that to heart for a moment. There were cars honking, getting worked up, upset. Like, well, tell you what, you walk up there, bring the back dear one back in their body and clear the road, and we're all free. And it's like, are you serious? Because my point being is, let's not identify with it. It's not about you. But it was a nice break. I was going to take a nap, but every 20 minutes we'd move a foot. So, except for an hour, I'd be holding up traffic by 3 feet. But I was laughing. It was like, all right, well, what are you going to do? Nothing, because there's nothing you can do. So I cleared everyone. I found out entity synergy stop forms. I assisted the dear one to make a full transition, but then sitting back in my rental car at that point and going with the flow, relaxing into the process.
Yes. And there's some questions here, Will, about
Can you move your camera up a little bit, please?
oh,
I can't see you. There you are.
there's questions about feeling the infinite, experience the infinite more and more moments throughout our day, and how we can get there, how we can continue to ascend vibratorily, so that in our day-to-day experience, we are experiencing our infinite presence.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, there's always the mind's a little impatient on all the times that we're not there, but can you speak about what really occurs for us uh, as we're ascending? It's just like, if we can just every day, just a little bit more be connected to our true self, what type of impact is that?
Life altering. Because you have to have, I mean, let's have some fun with it, right? There's the mind running, running. It should be this way. I should be this. You should be that. I should be further along. I should be not further along. Things should be this way. Let's just take a breath for a moment. Decompress. Let's just let the thoughts get further and further out there, because they are going further and further out there. But now let's see how long we can go for a few moments. Just take another breath. Just shift your consciousness to inhaling through your nose, all the way down through your pelvic girdle. Hold. And now, like you're trying to gently blow out a tea light candle, exhaling as slow as you can. Let's see how long we can go right now without thinking. Let's not think about not thinking. Let's just see how long we can go without thinking. Be aware of the thoughts. Eventually, the thoughts, they're just going to spiral away from you. The only reason they're there is because you're feeding them. So right now, let's not feed the thoughts. Let's not entertain them. Remember, a thought is only a thought until you give it life. Otherwise, it's like a bubble floating away. It reminds me of Flatus. Do you really sit back and psychoanalyze the Flatus and go into every little particle and entertain each and every particle of the Flatus? Or do you just point and say, it wasn't me, and point to someone else and let the Flatus leave? It's just like a thought. It's a bunch of gas particles floating away, losing hold. But it's only a thought until you give it life. So right now, how long can we go without entertaining a thought? Right now, everything I'm seeing, I'm not thinking about. There's no plan for deliverance. Deliverance happens every day down in Alabama. But from here, there's no thought about anything. It's just being a clear and perfect channel of divine love and truth. There's no opinions, there's no psychoanalyzation. And I'm saying all this because it's exactly who you are. So what's it like right now to have that spaciousness growing and growing? Because in that space between thoughts is where you happen. You're what fills the space. It's letting the universe in. It's letting you in. It's letting you come out. It's letting the universe come out. But now What happens when that magnetic stream of one thought leads to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, to another thought? What happens when none of that has a hold any longer? Just sit with that for a moment. Experience yourself without a thought. This is where miracles happen. Or I shall say miracles where you happen. The thought doesn't own you. You don't own the thought. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. Many want to blame it on the mass collective. Many want to blame it on whoever, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Even blame is feeding it more energy. And your energy is priceless. You're unlimited. You have unlimited energy. That's what the whole theory behind unlimitedness is. It's unlimited love. That's what it means by you're unlimited. That's where you start to really look at, why have I let myself give my love away by holding on to resentment, judgment, put walls up, blah, blah, blah? Why am I letting love be squeezed from me to where my body just goes into shutdown and it technically, literally accelerated aging? But is that anger or guilt or judgment towards that dear one in front of me, but are they really worth that? I'm going to give my optimum health and well-being away. Am I going to keep blaming my parents because blah, blah, blah? Well, am I really willing to do that to myself anymore? Because when it's all said and done, they're already over it. Why hold it yourself and keep it and feed it and feed it and keep it? Because it's only hurting you, no one else. If you have an issue with pharmaceutical field, quit judging, because every time you judge, you're going to end up on medication eventually, and now you're feeding the pharmaceutical field. So it's an oxymoron. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means when you're like, well, how do I become like my mother? How do I become like my father? By doing the same exact thing they've been doing for millennia. You become your worst enemy when you're constantly judging your worst enemy. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Quite comical, really.
And can you talk about, as we experience our presence throughout our day, where we're in a state of watching our thoughts, watching what's going on around us, we're feeling, and like I'm thinking about, as we're moving up vibratorily again, is there at a point where you hit like a tipping point and then everything just becomes easy?
Totally. That's why right now I'm playing with kindergarten, letting the thought, becoming aware that the thought is outside of you, but it's not a part of you. I'm saying kindergarten because you, in comparison to that, that's like, flicking a gnat off a wall or a counter. It's like, that has no power in comparison to you.
Mm-hmm.
Many go back into fear that, well, the ego's too big, blah, blah, blah. No, that's horsepucky. It's not. It's just like that little gnat you're flicking off the counter that's by your food. It wants you to perceive as big, but it's not. Well, what about demonics? Who cares? That's another gnat. Flick, 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 be gone. So if we're going to be true to ourselves and to our heart, Why are we giving all this power to all this stuff that holds no weight, but it's tricking you, manipulating you, and having you perceive that it's this big giant monster when it's just a tiny little puff of smoke? In reality,
Yeah.
I can't pay my bills. Cool. Don't pay your bills. Who cares? Why let that own you and identify you and define you? But I mean, what a blessing it is not to have bills by living outdoors. You know, it's over. I mean, everyone reserves the right to walk away. That's a universal principle, hands down. Nothing is keeping you in suffering except you allowing for yourself to be stuck in suffering. And I'm
Yes.
not necessarily always, I'm pleased to do it physically if you're called to, but I'm going beyond even just into the metaphor. Let yourself walk out the front door in your third eye and in your heart. Don't look back. Take yourself on that journey for a little bit, but watch how your body responds. If you're a mother, great. Let's do the same thing. Walk out the door, leave the kids, the partner, whatever. And right here, metaphorically, take me your consciousness right out of all and watch how your body regenerates. Am I talking leave your kids and your family? There's times it's appropriate, but no, that's not the point here. The point is giving yourself back your freedom and your power. Do it for 20 minutes, a half an hour, or do it for an hour. I mean, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out process, but I want you to physically watch what starts happening in your body.
Awesome. Well, that's a really great place to leave us all
And it's a very
as
practical
another,
that will create
right.
in your life. Going back to the first question about manifesting, now you just open yourself up to receive manifestations from the whole universe of your enjoyment. All right, Mr. Michael, and everyone, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a blast.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your questions, the energy that is brought to this event that created all the interactions that we've had. And we'll see you next month. Take care. Love
Namaste.
you.